You talked about putting in to study computer science in the University of Lagos, and then you decided to change over to estate management. That's kind of amazing, because you are computer science, that's a science course, and then you are changing to a social science course, without no background of some of this secondary school foundational courses and all that. How were you able to cope from sciences to social sciences?
Yeah, so I was one of those guys who, played a bit of gamble with my O-level, O-level subject selection. So I overworked myself and made sure that whatever I did, I had the right subject combination to fit very nicely into the sciences or the social sciences. So I could remember, I think it was my WAEC, I did economics, I believe, in addition to Yoruba, physics, chemistry, biology, and the usual, suspects. For my NECO, I think I did further maths, which then set me up nicely to do engineering if I wanted to do engineering, in addition to the physics, chemistry, biology, and so on. And then in my GC, I did geography and a few other courses, geography, economics, and a few other subjects, and including the usual suspects here as well. And I passed all of them, pretty well. So what that did for me was to create a bucket of confusion, because I could get admission to do engineering because I had further maths. I could get an admission to do any any course really, as long as it wasn't the arts. And when you say commercial courses, like say accounting, yeah, maybe not those ones, because I didn't do accounting, or I didn't do business studies or any of those things. But nonetheless, I had this right subject combination, and I think I could have even still gotten into any of those courses if I wanted to. The only thing I didn't have the right subject combination for was the arts. And so this is now this was what made it possible for me to dilly-dally around those across those different subject spectrums.
Awesome. Very, very wonderful. And so tell us, a young man from Lagos, Nigeria, coming into the UK, different behavioral pattern, let me use that word, different people, different language, different environment. How were you able to cope?
Wonderful question. That's a wonderful question. I can remember now that in retrospect, when I came into the UK, you would experience different levels of shock. And it's a part of the journey, except of course, you've had the amazing privilege of maybe coming in to the UK for summer holidays, growing up. And so you're used to the system. For people like us who didn't have that privilege to say we were coming to the UK on summer holiday, or didn't even have the opportunity to do summer holiday the way, this generation would know it, which is, you travel to some foreign country and then relax a bit and have some good time with family. The best I could say for summer holiday for us was to go to Lagos and to spend some time in Lagos. That was abroad, as it were, from Ibadan. And so when I came in here, it was I experienced the culture shock, as you had rightly imagined. There was a lot of culture shock, the culture shock around how people related with one another. Of course, there was the weather shock. The weather shock was just one of the most incredible ones. I remember the day I landed, it was a cold day. And before I left Nigeria, I didn't check the weather properly or something, or I was just totally ignorant. And then I had to come in, and I had something very light to put on, and I had to step out from the airport, and Lord have mercy. The way the cold gripped me, I ran back inside the airport with my luggage. They knew that a village man had arrived all the way from wherever he was coming from, until I was located by the gentleman who was asked to come pick me up. I also experienced the food shock. The food shock was, let me tell you a funny story. Food shock, in Nigeria, when you say lunchtime, it had to be the food with obstacles. We take delight in overcoming obstacles. You had bokoto shaki. If you even as a poor man, you had some kind of obstacle you would overcome when you eat lunch. Okay, swallow or rice, something that will fill you up and your cup will overflow, and you probably would have to take a quick 20-minute power nap, to shake body together before you jump to the next thing. And I walked into this, setup. They said they said, don't bother. They will give you lunch. I said, wonderful. They will know that a Nigerian visited. I got there, and they said, when I saw the table for lunch, what was the lunch? Sandwich that was like a half quarter bread with a leaf inside. I said, Lord, I said, sorry, is this a starter or the finisher? What's going on here? They said, yeah, this is good lunch. I said, this is not good lunch. Where I'm coming from, when you say lunch, they set a table before us, and we dive into the fellowship of breaking of proper bread for us is like donut snack. I mean, you take bread, it's like eating gala. You drink coke on top. That one is like meant to be like an appetizer in between food, not the main thing. What do you mean? And so that was the day I learned that when they say to you lunch in that setting, don't take their word for it. Either you load up before you come, or make up your mind that after you are done, you will eat their sandwich of solidarity. You'll go out somewhere and go and sort yourself out. And there were several other, interesting incidents, like the transportation shock for me. Coming from Nigeria, it was Okada or bus. Okay. Um, at that time Uber was yet to come. So if I had to take a taxi, it was a solid type thing. You wave your hand, a taxi will stop, you negotiate, and to bagba, you jump into your bagba, you pull out and all that stuff. And I came here, and I remember my uncle who kind of took me in for the first few weeks I had arrived before I went to university to resume. um, you know, had mentioned to me, I had mentioned to him that I wanted to go see a friend. A friend had given me an address, and I said I was going to, come visit you tomorrow. This was me arriving yesterday, jumping out the following day, wanting to go and visit a friend in a country I had never been to, in a city I didn't know. How more adventurous could I have gone? My uncle put me on a train. I would never forget. He put me on a train and said, bye. I'm like, where would the train stop? Where am I getting off? What's happening? It was when the train set moving, the euphoria of jumping on a train had overtaken the fact that I needed to calculate and calibrate the destination from where I was. I didn't know what was going to happen. But again, this was what this was beautiful thing about the coming in here, was that I learned that there was marks everywhere, signages. You just needed to ask and you will get help. And the funniest of it all, which I'm not embarrassed to share, but you might find funny as I hand over back to you, Adewale and team, is that, I remember I got this ticket, this their yellow, orange ticket to slide into the train thing, tube thing, to open up the barrier for me to go take the train. And I had been given the ticket because that was what I bought from my station of origin. And I wanted to, and I had spoken to one of the train men to say, excuse me, I'm going to that address. Could you help? And they said, oh yeah, you need to take this tube from here and drop off there, and then take this bus, and then you get to your destination. And then the man said, and I said, I have this ticket. Does it work? He said, the ticket works, that I should just put it in. I said, put it in where? I didn't know where to put the ticket in. And so, because I was too embarrassed to, ask again, I was just saying, he said, come on, go on. He said, the train is leaving in 2 minutes. I said, yes, I'm just waiting for somebody. It was because I was too ashamed to ask him again, where do you put it? Very ashamed. And I was waiting, and I was trying to tie up my shoelace, which wasn't untied. I was just trying to fake it. And then one man was coming behind. When I saw him coming, I said, well, I will see how the guy will operate the thing, so that me too, I can just, follow suit. The man was rushing to catch the same train that I was meant to catch. And the man slotted the ticketing somehow. I missed it. I didn't see it. And, I had to, take the bitter pill of saying, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't know where to put this ticket. And then they had to show me, but I missed the train, and I had to wait another 15, 20 minutes, which was another big lesson I learned. Coming from Nigeria, you were flippant with time. Here, when I moved here, that culture of being time conscious, oh my, I learned a lot of bitter lessons, missing trains that I didn't think were happening only once in an hour. and it was like 3:05 train. You get there 3:06, you miss the train, you need to wait till 4:06 to catch the next train, sitting in the cold. So all those things taught me a lot of lessons. But yeah, culture shock is as good as it comes when I highlighted all those different elements that got me.